Hello, my name is Brian Martin. Happy to see you today. Hey, this is the 14th installment of my reading of my book, Oxytocin is the O in Love. And I'm reading today the summary and the conclusion. I want you to know that in 2 weeks from today, which today is September 19th, 2012, so on October 3rd, 2012, I'm beginning a new series with Jennifer Martin. Imagine that. The co-star of my book, and we're going to be doing a workshop called Real Estate Love. And the estate part is in parentheses, and it's surrounded by real love. I just think that's just dynamically cute. So that's something for you to look forward to. And if you can project forward into the future a little bit, in the middle of January, we're going to begin the Oxytocin workshop. Jennifer and I are. It's a 6, 7 week series that is going to be really wonderful. We're positioning it around Valentine's Day because we think that's an important time for us to refocus our attention on our love. All right, so are you ready now? Here we go for the summary and the conclusion. Sometimes Jennifer and I play a game when we go to an event. We pretend that we are renowned real estate royalty. Um, Actually, we pretend that we are renowned relationship royalty. We might be real estate royalty too. I don't know about that. We fantasize that when we enter the room, the greeter announces, "Ladies and gentlemen, welcome the King and Queen of Love." We imagine the crowd pausing and turning their attention to us. As we walk through the crowd, they make way for us. We overhear their conversations about us. Quote, "I heard that he constantly pleasures her." End of quote. I heard, new quote, "they created their own love language, which only they understand." Another quote, "Oh, look, they're glowing." And Jennifer and I laugh. And you know what? It's not far from the truth. We have an unusual love. Look how far we've come. Dot, dot, dot. From the brink of emotional disconnection to riding the thin line of enmeshment and love for decades. Remembering all the time, it's not the length of the relationship that's important. It's the quality of the emotional connection. Man, I hope when you get the book you underline that because that's really, really important. And yet, all that we did was rediscover the essential aspect of love that is in the heart of every human being. Every human has a heart of love. There are damaged hearts of love. Of course, there are. If you read this book this far, then clearly you have a heart of love. For better or for worse, your culture has influenced your thoughts, your feelings, and your emotions about yourself and your relationships. As I said earlier, culture and love are two completely separate things. Culture competes for space in your brain. Love is built in and more powerful. Culture carved a huge 8-lane freeway in the neural pathways of your brain. Culture, fortunately, love was already there. long before culture had its way with your brain. Our ancient ancestors saw to that. Don't forget, love was there first. Some culture brokers carve identity facets on that diamond that is you. They are not all bad. I am this, I am that, can be useful. But ultimately, they are disappointing because while they can be beneficial, they don't reflect the real you, the loving you, which connects you with your ancient people, and it connects you with your future people, and it connects you with your loved ones now. I am a loving person will always be the greatest expression of who you are. There's nothing higher or greater in the known universe than I am a loving person. Of course, I put those in quotes because that's the identity that I hope that you will label yourself with from now on as the number one identity that radiates from you. I hope Jennifer and my path will inspire you to put culture in its place as a tool for love. And I pray that you can see culture for the fiction it really is, the invention of some, and use it for your benefit and for the benefit of others. I also hope that you can tell the difference between the invention culture and the innate organic love. You are a love-empowered person, not a person laboring for some culture. That's a really great sentence, and I hope that you will underline that also. Culture wanted me to marry my career. And when that threatened my relationship with Jennifer, when she became emotionally disconnected from me, I thought I was going to die. I didn't know it at the time, but I was anti-fragile. And although I did not see the disconnection coming, when I did see that black swan of disconnection, I figured out what to do. Ultimately, I gained exponentially from the disconnection. That's the definition, by the way, of anti-fragile. You can gain from your disconnection also. The greatest thing that ever happened in my life was not restoring our emotional connection. Restoring our emotional connection was an added blessing. One of the greatest things that ever happened in my life. The greatest thing that ever happened to me was discovering that I am a loving person. Being I am a loving person is or was what allowed Jennifer to lower her wall of protection. When she lowered her wall of protection, it was nothing that I did for her. It is what I became for her. I showed her what I really was and am as a person. The safety I am a loving person created for her allowed her to lower her wall of protection. Safety is essential for an emotional connection to exist. That page is stuck. If Jennifer would have remained disconnected, and if we lost our marriage, I still would have gained because I rediscovered I am a loving person. I know it's easy to say that now, right? But the truth is, I am a loving person is the greatest discovery that I ever made. The greatest irony of this book is that one can restore a lost emotional connection not by focusing on the relationship, but by becoming, I am a loving person. All the time, in every place, with every person, authentically, genuinely, organically, from the heart, and of course, with the people you love. The supreme way, I need to make sure that you hear this correctly. The supreme way of being in the conscious universe is I am a loving person. I know I said that before, but it bears repeating. Like most people, I didn't have the foggiest idea what a thought was. Blindly, we meander through the valley of life without even noticing our thinking, emoting process. All of our thoughts, all of our feelings, all of our emotions are the direct results of brain cells, brain chemicals, and electric impulses. We know this, and yet the mystery and the marvel of brain function and thought processes continues to mesmerize researchers. We have so much more control over our thoughts and our feelings and emotions than we ever realized. And we have so much control. Just the fact that I don't have to think one particular negative present thought, that I can replace any thought at any time with another, has given me such great leverage over my thinking process, my negative emotions, and the way that I feel at any particular time. I am not subject to my thoughts, my emotions, and my feelings, or even the imposition of cultural mandates. I can control what I think. That is amazing. We can even control powerful brain chemicals like adrenaline, and we can stimulate the production of oxytocin. Wow! 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 And here's something. I do this all the time. I control my thinking. I can feel sometimes in my face a sadness come over me. It's like the muscles in my face seem to contract in a particular way. And you know, when I become aware of that and when I stop that and I can remind myself that the state that I want to experience at this particular time is joy, and I start thinking about joy, it just radiates from me. And that negative thought, that sad, that depressed feeling at that moment, that depressed emotion, that depressed thought, that depressed feeling goes away as soon as I refocus my thought on joy or something else. It's powerful. I'm continuing now with the reading. What a beautiful exercise via negativa is with our mind. Eliminating 100% of our negative thinking is such a noble goal. At the very least, controlling our negative thoughts make us aware of our thinking process, and that awareness leads to greater control. We don't have to ruminate about negative thoughts. In fact, negative ruminations are a huge distraction from the loving, the creating, the innovating, the future planning that we can do. Make, quote, I only think loving thoughts about you 100% of the time, dot, dot, dot. And when I don't, I seize control and I return to loving thoughts. Make that your mantra, your default way of thinking. Remember, the opposite of negative thoughts is loving thoughts. Imagine what our emotional connection would be like if your loved ones knew that you only think loving thoughts about them 100% of the time. That's a song John Lennon should write about. One of the benefits of controlling my thoughts, feelings, and emotions, even the negative ones, is that now I see beauty everywhere. When one is not preoccupied with negativity, one is left to see and to think about is love and beauty. In the past, I needed to go somewhere or someplace like the mountains or the beach to see beauty. Now, it's all around me, and especially in the gifts and the skills and the talents and the tools of other people. People are beautifully differentiated by their unique gifts and skills and talents and tools. When I stopped thinking that I needed to control Jennifer, I started to see her gifts and her skills and her talents and her tools for what they really are. She was not some unfortunate girl who got pregnant as a teen and never got to go to college. She is a powerful, gifted businesswoman who understands finance and built a great real estate business. She had a passion to help people to work, how to build their own businesses. She was and is a great and wise business teacher, a super business model, in addition to being a caring, loving person. She did not need me to help her grow and to develop her differentiated self. She did not need me at all. All she wanted from me was me to love her. As I honored her differentiated self, as I loved her for what she is in the world, she became completely free to be everything she could be in the world. It is a beauty to behold. My goodness, this is really good stuff. She did it again. She often does it. Last night, she came and she put her feet in my lap. Again. I've been rubbing her feet for decades, and she always comes back for more. I never refuse her. Never. She tells me exactly how much pressure and exactly where to rub. As I massage her feet, her leg twitches, and the pleasure she gets delights me. It's such a little thing. And it's such a little thing to be a constant source of delight in her life. What if all the people in the world were, quote, a constant source of delight for the loved ones? I can only imagine. Pleasuring each other is a critical part of growing and maintaining your emotional connection. Pleasuring is much more than any specific act, like rubbing feet or a particularly satisfying sexual experience. Pleasuring is a mindset, followed by innumerable emotional, physical interactions. I'll be honest with you, Jennifer's smile is one of the most pleasurable acts I receive. Remember, I am that dark and moody guy that she somehow found attractive. And what her smile does for me is so amazing that I feel it deep in my belly. Her smile makes me feel accepted, appreciated, and loved. Jennifer is constantly and always smiling at me. What a great pleasure that gives me. And here is another. Dancing in the kitchen. We love meal preparation together. I shuffle my favorite music stations and we'll be slicing tomatoes and onions when she grabs me. And the next thing I know, that we're slow dancing between the refrigerator and the stove top and making wild gyrations to the music. It's fun, 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 and most pleasurable. We love being skin to skin under the covers. Here's the thing, the bumper sticker, the main point about pleasuring each other. It works. Exclamation point. It works in creating a stronger emotional connection. That deliberate, conscious act of touching physically and emotionally sends a strong message to the brain, which releases bonding chemicals like oxytocin, the O in love, and helping us to stay connected, relieve a lot of stress, and makes life together richer. These then are the ways that Jennifer and I, out of our relationship poverty, became relationship billionaires, rich in love. Let me articulate them one last time here succinctly. Number one, we discovered the necessity of creating safety for each other. Number two, we learned to control our thoughts. Number three, we eliminate 100% of our negativity. And then in parentheses I write, and when we regress, we quickly return to zero negativity. Next, we honor our differentiated selves, our gifts, our skills, our talents, and our tools. Next, we own our I am a loving person identity, elevating it above all other self-identities. And then the last, we constantly pleasure each other, striving to be a source of constant delight for the other. Dear friend, when all is said and done, love is the most important thing. And that, my dear friend, concludes the book. So, it won't be long. It'll just be a few weeks before this book is available on Amazon and other book outlets. And it will join the pantheon of books that I have written, including Eternity is the E in Love, experiencing meaning and changing the world with the power of love. You're welcome, Kevin. And my ideal day of love. And kindness is the most important little thing in the world. 3 types of transformational kindness for everyone. I think you should memorize this book. And the book that started it all off so long ago. Sometimes it's embarrassing me as I read this because I think, oh, I need to give a new update. But Fun Loving, How to Have a Practically Perfect Relationship by Dr. Brian Martin. I gotta tell you though, each one of these books is formed and shaped out of Jennifer Chamberlin Martin and Brian Lee Martin's relationship and our love. All right, so just to quickly remind you that on October 3rd, which is 2 Saturdays from now, Jennifer Martin and I are going to present a 9-week series here on Facebook, and you can find all of my videos on the link there that I provided for you, and so it'll be there as well. It's Brian Lee Martin on my YouTube station, but there's the link right down there. And that is going to be a fabulous experience. And so I'm inviting you to join us because having both Jennifer and I is super because you know what? We're better together. So I hope that you've enjoyed the reading of Oxytocin is the O in Love. And I look forward to seeing you in a couple weeks or the next time we happen to cross paths. And here's something that I'd like you to know. You are a freaking miracle of astronomical proportions. And you have gifts and skills and talents and tools that you've been given. And they are for your benefit and for the world. And you are a miracle. And I love you.